Nacogdoches City Council considering a multi-million-dollar general bond election to pay for several city projects. KLTV7's Mariela Gonzalez reports on what the city is looking to do.
Multiple city projects in Nacogdoches have been waiting for nearly a year to get started. Last September, a voters' petition halted the city's plans to use certificates of obligation. At the time, City Council considered to take on over $20 million of new debt, allowing the city to pay for infrastructure projects without voters' approval.
And so many in the community thought, this is the type of thing that should be voted on by the community.
Philip Blackburn of Nacogdoches is a former member of the Nacogdoches Capital Needs Advisory Committee that was appointed by City Council. Blackburn says in the last 7 months, he and the committee toured multiple city facilities that were in need of repairs and improvements.
And as a result, we all came together. There's obviously some people in the committee were more in favor of some things than others. But at the end of the day, we all agreed, and it was a unanimous decision, to bring these propositions to the voter and let the voter decide.
The committee proposed a $43.9 million bond that will cover costs for improving and equipping fire stations, streets, city airport, drainage, parks, sidewalks, and one city cemetery. In the last month, City Council held meetings with financial bond advisors to make any final adjustments.
I trust our community to make the decision for how much debt we carry, and that's democracy, in my opinion.
Mariela Gonzalez, KLTV 7 News.
And if the Nacogdoches City Council decides to move forward with the bond election, it would be added to the November ballot.